Good day, everyone. Good day, ma'am. So today we're going to tackle about topics under Unit 3, which is the typology of learners with special needs. And let's proceed. The first topic under Unit 3 is that A, the learners with intellectual disability. And under this, there are two subtopics, which is the cerebral palsy, and the second one is the trisomy 21. So our objectives for today's discussion is that at the end of this lesson, students will be able to first, K, identify learners with intellectual disability. Second, S, specify the difference between cerebral palsy and trisomy 21. A, provide awareness to the learners with intellectual disability. So when we talk about intellectual disability, what is intellectual disability? So, an intellectual disability is not a disease. You can catch an intellectual disability from anyone. It's not just like you are socializing to others, then you could probably get an intellectual disability. It's not like that. It's also not a type of mental illness like depression, anxiety or etc. There is no cure for intellectual disabilities. However, most intellectual disabilities or most of the children with in intellectual disability can learn to do many things. It is just takes them more time and effort than other children. Let's proceed to cerebral palsy. What is cerebral palsy? Cerebral palsy or the CP is a group of disorders that affect a person's ability to move and maintain balance and posture. CP is the most common motor disability in childhood. Cerebral means having to do with brain. Next is palsy means weakness or problems with using the muscles. Cerebral palsy is usually caused by a problem that affects the development of a baby's brain while it's growing in the womb. So you can see a child or children who are in the wheelchairs because of their disabilities. So that's what we call it's aligned with cerebral palsy. And which talks about trisomy 21, the Down syndrome, known as the trisomy 21, is a condition in which a person has an extra chromosomes, even though people with Down syndrome might act and look similar. Each person has different disability. People with Down syndrome usually have an IQ, a measure of intelligence, in the mildly or to moderately low range and are slower to speak than other children. Some common physical features of Down syndrome include a flattened face, especially the broodage poof of the nose, almond-shaped eyes, that slant up short neck, small ears, small hands, and feet. That's what we called trisomy 21. So when we talk about cerebral palsy, you could probably see or you might see or saw a child or children who are using wheelchairs, and because of they can stand, they can't move properly, they can't crawl, they can crawl, or they can't even move their feet or hands because of their disabilities. These are abilities that affects person's ability to move and maintain balance and posture. So if a child has cerebral palsy, so they can't move properly, they can walk, they can stand, and they might move a little bit, but they cannot continually move. So it's the CP, which is the cerebral palsy. And when we talk about cerebral, it is having to do with our brain. So palsy is that the weakness or problems with using the muscles. So the muscles of the child or the children's are too weak that can't hold or can support the whole body to have a posture or movements. So that's about what we call the cerebral palsy. It is one of an intellectual disability. So the trisomy, so there you can probably already, or you can see already, some of the childrens have like they have small hands, small ears, big eyes, big feet, or um, ears, mouth, eyes, eyeballs, or anything that it seems like it is a Down syndrome, what we call Down syndrome. So, again, people with Down syndrome usually have IQ, a measure of intelligence, mildly to moderately low range and slower to speak than others children. Some common physical feature of Down syndrome is that flattened face, so they have a flattened face, especially the bridge of the nose, almond-shaped eyes, have slant up, short neck, small ears, small hands and feet, etc. That's what the difference between cerebral palsy and trisomy 21. But both are kinds of intellectual disability. So, and that's the end of our discussion today. Now let's proceed with our activity 1. So the instruction is that the class will be grouped into 3 groups, and you're going to perform a role play on how you will respond and react to a learners with intellectual disability. 3 minutes preparation and 3 minutes presentation. So the group 1, classroom settings. Group 2, community settings. Group 3, family settings. So your timer starts now. For your assessment, instruction, create a assessment. Your assessment is instruction. Create a graphic organizer showing the difference between cerebral palsy and trisomy 21. You are given 3 minutes to do the task. Please be guided accordingly. And for your assignment, please study the next lesson or topic that we are going to tackle, which is about learners with learning disability. And that's for the end of our lesson for today. That could be all. Thank you and God bless everyone.